G'day, Aussie Ben. I left you in the last video with a bit of a problem that we had a character who we'd put a moving animation for, but things weren't working so well. So now what we're going to have a look at is where we've created an event of character is moving, we're going to add a new condition. So not only should we check is the character moving, we need to check are they moving and are they on a platform. So let's have a look down our list. Is on floor. And again, make sure it's the correct object. So now we're saying if the character is moving and the character is on the floor, do that animation. So let's have a look if that actually does anything better for us. We'll quickly go into preview. And by this time of using the program, the game developer should be getting the idea that they have to do everything. That you can't just expect the program to figure things out for itself. So still really not getting what I was after. I can jump, I can fall, I get stuck in fall. If I move, it keeps on moving. So I've still got a little bit to finish off. I've got to create a new event that actually talks about if the character is not moving. So I'm going to go here and add a standard event. And I'm going to say, okay, let's have a look. If the character is on the floor and what I ideally want is I want an option that says if the character's on the floor and the character is not moving. Now you notice there is no not moving. They're all positives. Is falling, is jumping, is moving. So I'll go for is moving, and this is where this little option here comes in. By checking that and changing that to character, what I'm doing is saying, well, the opposite of this. I'm basically adding in the word not in between is moving. So is not moving. And I'll add, and notice the slight change here in the icon. So what we've ended up here with is if the character's on the floor and is not moving, do a particular animation. So I want them to do animation 0 because that's the standing still animation. So add a new action and change animation of the character to animation 0. Now, by the way, when this little pop-up happens, it's always going to come up, and it can be a little bit annoying. If you need to, just click away and it'll get rid of the pop-up. Hit add. Now everything should actually be working. So I've covered things if it jumps, if it falls, if it's moving, and if it's not moving. That covers all of our bases, I think. Give it a quick test. There'll still be some problems, but there'll be lots of little victories that we've had. And this is looking good. Beautiful. Jump, fall, everything else is still working. Okay, that's great. Now, a problem that you should be noticing now is that the character only faces one direction. So we'll have a look at correcting that. Go back to our events viewer. Once again, we're going to add a new standard event. Now, basically by default the character is facing to its right. So we're going to create a condition that checks if the left key is tapped, flip the character over. And if the right key is tapped, we'll make sure the character is facing right. So they're going to be two different conditions. We'll do them one at a time. So we're going to add a condition, and so what we're checking for is a key press. So we'll scroll down, find something about key pressing. Mouse. Okay, here we go, keyboard. Any key is pressed or a particular key is pressed. So we're after a particular key. And it then asks, well, what key are you looking for? We'll type in the word left. You'll find a lot of times that the use of uppercase and lowercase does matter, and I think this is one of these times. Key to test left, add. So, if that happens to be true, what do we want to happen? I would like to flip the character. There we go. Flip an object horizontally. which object, character, and here we just need to enter in yes. And add. Let's give that a quick try. So by default, the character's facing right. So that's not really a problem that we've felt we had to deal with yet. So that all looks good. I go left, and I've done something wrong. So let's have a look. Event editor. Left key is pressed. Flip character 3. I'm just going to try this with a lowercase y. That's the only thing I can think of I might have done wrong there. That's why it's a good idea to check frequently between changes. There we go. Now, you might be thinking, well, now he's always walking left, which is true. So I need to add another event to get him back to his default. Okay, so let's add a new event. And once again, we're looking for a key press. And this time it is the right key. Add. Now, this will seem a bit odd, so I'm just going to put it in, check that it works, and then explain it. So I'm looking to flip once again, and I'm looking to flip character 3, and I'm actually going to type no, and I'll explain why in just a second. So left, flip character yes, right, flip character no. Seems a bit counterintuitive, but I'll just test it, hopefully prove that it works, and then go back and explain why it does work. Okay, left, right, jump, grab, everything's working. Let's have a look at why that's so. So the idea here is when we talk about flipping the object horizontally, what we're saying here is it's a way of saying return it to its default state, and its default state was right. So I know that does feel a little bit counterintuitive, but it's correct, it works. You can try it the other way, see what happens, but this way certainly works. Okay, so now we've got something that is definitely resembling a bit more of a game that is a bit more engaging because it's got animations and it's got some interactions working. So that's a job well done if you've got to that point. There's just one other quick thing that I'll show you here, and this is a bit more advanced. You don't need to do this, but it's good practice. Here where I had the option of if the character's on the floor and is not moving, do something, and if the character's on the floor and is moving, do something. There's a better way to capture all of this. So I'll leave these here, and actually what I'll do is I'll select them, and one of these buttons is to deactivate. So they're there, but that they won't actually do anything. So I'm now going to go ahead and create a new standard event. And the first thing that I'm going to do in this standard event is I'm going to check, is the character on the floor? The common thing between those two events I just disabled was they both included checking is something on the floor. So is character 3 on the floor? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two sub-events that then decide, okay, if character's on the floor and the character's moving, do something. So let's go do that. Is moving, once again, character, and I'll add another sub-event. Character, where are we? Is moving, is not moving, and then set the appropriate animation. So I'll come back in the next video and we'll set those animations and see if it all works.